Thanks, John and Jane, for the brilliant introduction. Are we all ready for today? Where's Adam? They are rubbish. They get worse as the days go on, I imagine. Okay, so for those of you that haven't heard from me before, as Jane and John said, my name is Debbie Nwangwa, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of my background so you know that where I've come from and what I've done exactly in the corporate world. So I started with Forever exactly 3 years ago today. I'm a mum of 2 boys and a wife to Martin. Now, I originally started Forever around a very, very full-time corporate job. I didn't think that I had any time to do it, but I knew that if I wanted to change the way that our circumstance of our lives were, then I needed to do something different. So when Ange Loughran left an intriguing post on Facebook one day, I decided to ask her what it was that she was doing. Really quickly got on board because it was the right time for me. We'd just sent our eldest son, who was 7 at the time, to private school. And if anybody's ever looked into private schools before, you know how expensive that can be. So even working in the corporate world and working full-time since they were born, we really couldn't afford it. So we did it anyway. Now, I was only looking for a few hundred extra pounds a month. That was all I thought that I was going to earn in the early days, like a lot of stories that you've heard this weekend. So I quickly earned, within 8 weeks, that money that I was looking for. Now, if I just fast forward 3 years, because I'm going to tell you exactly how I've created the volume over the last 3 years, but our lives have completely changed. And when I say completely changed, it's unrecognisable already, just within 3 years. And why I say that is because now I earn an income 5 times more than I did after 12 years in the corporate world. And this is working part-time. I left my job 7 months ago. Again, never thought that that would ever happen. And I'm now able to give everything that I want to for the boys. They both go to the same private school now. Again, never would have happened without Forever. And you know, this is the first summer that I've spent with my own children since they were born, and one of them's nearly 11, and the other one is 8 years old. So I can now be that mum that goes to every single performance and probably embarrasses them because I cry every time. So to say that it's changed our lives is an understatement. I've also won trips to Hawaii this year and Sardinia. So from a very sceptical husband in the early days who didn't want me to do it because he didn't think that I had time around the corporate job and the children, to taking him to Hawaii completely changed his mind as well. He saw checks, Jane and John. He saw checks from, you know, what we received as our first check as $7,500, which again is just, it's mind-blowing that you can receive this within such a short space of time. I thought you needed to be with Forever a long, long time to get these checks. And then obviously that changed his mind, and he gave in his notice the day that we came back from Hawaii. So I'm going to take you through exactly what has changed my business over the last 3 years. So I started in October 2010, 3 years today. And I'm just going to take you through the first 12 months because I wasn't the quickest person to get to manager, although it's quite funny, we had a power team training day a few weeks ago. And back in the day, you know, when I got to manager, everyone used to say, wow, you've done it in 12 months. Now people are doing it in 7, 8 weeks. So I thought I was good. So as I said, I got to supervisor in 8 weeks, purely retail and clean 9. And the reason for that is because I still had my baby weight and he was 6, so no excuse really. And so I documented the whole thing on Facebook. When I saw people at parties or when I saw people out in the street when I was dropping the kids off at school, they would ask me why I looked so well, how I've done what I've done. And of course, I would tell them exactly what I'd done. But I was just a retailer, so I was only earning that few £100s a month. Then I thought I'd made it, as you've heard a lot of people saying this weekend, and I did half a case credit in the February. So I'd done supervisor by the end of the December 2010, then thought I was completely a superstar, that this was it, I had it nailed, did half a case credit. Then, as has happened to Martin quite a few times over the last 10 years, he was made redundant in the July. Now, of course, we'd done everything possible to get our eldest son into private school. He was there, he was settled. And now I not only couldn't afford the school fees in the first place, my mother-in-law was helping, now I had the whole mortgage to pay for as well. And that was when I stopped and I thought, what am I doing? The only thing that I've got control over is forever. I don't have control over my day job. They pay me less now than they did 12 years ago. So that's when I really, really had a goal. Then, for those of you that know Faye Daly, she came into my life via a referral because somebody had seen that my life was slightly changing. So she came via a referral and we got in touch. She wasn't the person that she is today. She was very, very shy. She got on board straight away and she got to work. And then I had somebody that was just as focused as me and we worked together. So I always had a really good retail business. I had those regular customers coming back to me month in, month out. So I ended as a manager last November 2011 on 80 case credits. So I'd achieved my goal. I've proved to Martin that this thing worked. But then, because I was earning an extra £1,400 a month on top of my day job wage, I didn't really need anything else. So then 2012 came. I did 84 open case credits. February, 101 case credits. March, 96, and my first frontline manager in Faye Daly. But then what happened? She was my one strong leg. And I can't stress to you how important this is. You know, when people used to say to me, you don't want just one strong leg, and I'm going to look at Jane, because that's what I had. I had the classic, really strong, one-legged business. And I didn't know what people were talking about. But when it went down to 32 case credits and my income dropped, that's when I thought, okay, I've got 2 children, and I would really like to send my youngest son, Jaden, to the same school. And this was a year ago, so it was coming up to the time that we needed to start getting the money together. So then I coasted and did exactly the same the next month. Knowing what to do, just not actually doing it. Now, 2012 was a particularly tough year for me in terms of I had 2 people that were diagnosed with terminal cancer. One of them was a very close friend at the age of 23, and the other one was my grandfather. Now, I could have used this time here, that they were both very, very sick, to say, oh, I'm too busy, and make an excuse. But what it did is it changed my mindset around the July time of saying, we don't know what is around the corner, especially when you've got somebody so young going through these things. So instead of making it as an excuse to not do the work, I made it my absolute mission to do whatever it took to get those case credits back up and to create the life of our dreams. So what did I do? I looked on my bonus recap and I actually saw that it actually wasn't that difficult for me to hit chairman's bonus. So why was I going for Eagle Manager? I needed to go for the bigger incentives. So that's what I did, is I got to work. But not just with me, with my team. I made it possible for them to see that they could do it as well. So Faye Daly going for car plan, Rebecca Jane going for car plan, and myself all together meant that the case credits started to rise and we were working together. So September was 62 case credits. October was 96 open case credits. So I'd done car plan level 1 and Eagle within 1 month. Now, had I have just made Eagle my yearly goal, the rest wouldn't have happened. November, chairman's bonus. But not just for me, it was for my +1 as well. Because we'd all gone for the incentives together, we'd all achieved them together. Was there times that we didn't think we were going to do it? Absolutely, most days. But generally, the best thing to say to me is that you can't do it, and then I'll prove you wrong. So that was 2012. So my first year, so from the October to the end of December, I'd done 29 case credits to get me to supervisor. This was my second year. I'd done 1,207. So again, these numbers looked ridiculous. You know, when other people were achieving these things in the business, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be 5-10 years' time. Little did I know that within 2 years, this was going to be me too. So the volume continued to grow. I had now had 4 managers in that one leg. I'd also got my chairman's level 1+1. So we were both going to Hawaii with our partners. And as I said, I finished the year on 1,207 case credits. Also, Jaden had started at the private school, so I had a new goal of being able to afford for both of them to go to that school. But then what that did, because I'd earned such a huge bonus, I thought, actually, I could even leave work. And that was never, ever as part of my goals. So, January 2013, 96.8 case credits. But what I did was I took the whole of December building up a pipeline so that I could recruit really, really strong people. So I was talking to friends that had been looking at my business for 2 years, thinking, what is it that she's doing? But were too scared to get in contact with me. So I contacted them all around Christmas last year. 96.8 case credits January. February, 84. My main goal was to do 100 club. So I'm getting there. March, 123 case credits. What I did at the end of February was I recruited a friend that I've been talking to for 2 years. It was never the right time for her. And this girl, most of you saw her on stage last month, Jamie Kaiser, at Success Day. April, just 8 weeks after she'd joined, she'd done manager. Where was I? Hawaii. So I'd done car plan level 2 and 3 and senior manager within the space of the 3 days that I was on a holiday in Hawaii, over the other side of the world. So we'd done 211 case credits. I actually gave in my notice for work in the February, and I remember Jane Leach saying to me at a training session in January at the Power Team Masterclass, basically what she'd said was, if you don't make that jump to write that resignation letter, you'll never do it. And I remember a story that Jane told me about her mom doing it as well. And she said, you will never have worked as hard as when you give in your notice. And it was totally true. So I'd taken my income from £4,000 a month in the February, and literally within 2 months, increasing that to £8,000 a month, which is just incredible. May, 136 case credits. You can see what's happened. I've done 100 Club Level 1. So that was a big thing for me. June, 138 case credits. And already in July, I'd qualified for Chairman's Bonus, +1 again. And this is all in the first 6-7 months of the year. Last year, it was so stressful trying to leave it all to the end of the year, but I still did it. August, 117 case credits. So you can see I've done level 2. And September, 145 open case credits. Now, again, none of this would have happened had I not have changed my mindset. I was always, so I've already done 2,500 case credits this year, which again is just crazy. I remember Natalie Healy going for it last year and just thinking, wow, this could be me in a few years' time. It's done. It's done. And it's just... just a different mindset, that's what it is, and leaving work, because now I get to do this all the time and help other people. So, how? I bet you're all dying to find out how I create the volume. Lots of different methods. Networking wherever I go. So, we took a last-minute holiday at the end of August this year, and I just decided to take us to France. So we decided to drive, we decided to go on a Eurocamp holiday, something we've never done with the boys before, but I'd heard that it was good fun and really lots of activity, so the boys were really excited. We were only there for a few days, but within a few days, you get talking to other parents. I'd already recruited within 24 hours of being there. Just because I think people are crazy if they don't sign up to this business. And I'm not afraid to tell them either. I work really deep within my team, so I don't just work with frontline people. Some of my teams, people do nothing between me and the 6th generation. I still work with that person as if I recruited them. Because why should I take away their wants and their goals, you know, just because the people in between them didn't have that fire in their belly? Facebook following. So I don't sell products on Facebook anymore. I have my regular customers. I don't generally go out looking for people. But what I do is I sell a lifestyle, and that is what draws people in. That's what brings people to me now that said absolutely no chance to my business 3 years ago. And now they're saying, I want to know what you're doing. My business is failing, and I need help. So it's not about selling products for me. It's about the lifestyle. Advertising. Now, this can be really, really simple in a local shop. This is something that I get my team members to do very early on. And it's not a fancy advertisement that's going to cost them a lot of money. It's a handwritten note. What are you looking for? Because if you look at the notice boards in your local shop, we've got a shop down the road called One Stop. On that shop, they're all handwritten notes. They're not posh flyers. They're not things that people have spent thousands of pounds on. It's a handwritten note. And it costs 50p a week. It's nothing. Referrals, this is a big thing for me. I'm not afraid to ask people if they know just one more person that's looking to earn extra cash, especially in the run-up to Christmas. School gates, I'm the mum at the school gates now, which is, again, fantastic, because they're asking me how I've changed the car, how I now don't work anymore, and we're swapping business cards. You know, if I can help them in their business and, you know, get them referrals and vice versa. So it is great to be that mum at the school gates. I always had a real problem with recruiting consistently. Let's see what the flash is now. I always had a problem recruiting consistently, and this is something that I absolutely make sure that I do month in, month out, and I think this has been a huge, huge thing for my business now, and that's recruiting at least 2 to 4 people a month. My retail's always been the same. It's always been really, really strong. And I try and do, you know, you heard Claire Spencer talking on the stage the other day. I always try and do between 10 and 12, 15 case credits myself, because if I can do it, I can teach my team to do it. And that's really important for me. I don't tell people, I show people. We focus heavily on launches and weight management. Now, what are my goals for the final quarter in 2014? Helping 2 more managers before the end of this year. And I know it's a big goal, but why not go for it? What's the worst that's going to happen? My business is going to grow. I want to hit 200 to 300 case credits, open business, on a regular basis. Not just when you recruit a Jamie Kaiser into your team. And focus my team to do exactly the same. So as soon as my team members are coming up towards manager, we're talking Eagle manager, we're talking about chairman's bonus. And we're talking about every single incentive that Forever offers, because, you know, Rex wants us all to have these things, so why not go for them straight away? I want to be Sapphire manager by June next year. Again, what's the worst that's going to happen? My business is going to grow in the long run. And I've always hated our house because it's actually not big enough. The boys were, Jaden wasn't even born when we moved into our house. So my big, big goal is pay off debts and move into a family home that's big enough for us all to grow into. And debt-free living. One of my favourite videos of the last few months that I've seen is the Andy Waring one. So that massively inspired me to say, this is how I'm going to do it. I've got a plan and I'm going to put it in place. So focus on the incentives to build your business. Have a clear and focused goal. You know, this is the reason why my business completely did a 360. It will drive you. Be ready to take on the changes. Trust in Forever. I've never known a company like this. I did come from a really corporate background that were generally quite good at looking after you, but I've never, ever been looked after like I have been with Forever. Build the belief from day one, not just for yourself, but in your team members as well. Make them believe that they can achieve everything on this marketing plan. And keep to the cycle. When I've skipped a stage before, it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. You need to do the cycle and let them see that they've already been around that cycle and it's not as scary as they think. And know that you will achieve absolutely everything if you just put a plan in place and stick to it. So thank you for listening. Have a great day.